Welcome to In Brandon as we continue on with our segments for the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair of this year. And with me today we have Nikki Hack and Wayne Buer. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about ag education and the importance of, passing on all that information to the young and just the general public on why it's all important. So what is ag education and why is it important?
Ag education, we look at it as that main tool to get us to bridge between so many of the people in today's society who are 3 to 4 generations removed from the farm compared to what actually happens on the farm. That generational gap is huge, and there's a lot of misinformation regarding how agriculture works, where food comes from, what you need to do, your part as a consumer to be safe with the food that you buy, what is being done to make sure that when you go to the store you get good and safe food. So that's, in a quick nutshell, kind of part of it. And that, in today's day and age when anyone can trace anything because we have video and we have audio, with the internet, you can go pick your item out of a store someplace and have it shipped to you, and they can track it all the way. And that's a huge part of agriculture today too, is traceability, and just being able to show everyone how much care producers put into producing good food.
Right. You mentioned the separation and the generations being removed from the farm and stuff. So how do you engage the youth on learning about agriculture?
Well, one of the things that is, despite the fact that they're removed, the physical interaction that we create with our rural farmyard always grabs people's attention. I'm going to say, because we're human, we're attracted to other living things. So when they walk into that area and see live dairy cows in what is basically a mock dairy barn, or they see broiler chickens or layer chickens laying eggs and chicks hatching, that's an automatic engagement because it's real, and that's how they engage. We work all those areas with our commodity groups to have them have producers there in those areas. So when somebody has a question, they can answer it. And they make the point of going up and talking to them and saying, this is what we do. This is how we deal with it on a day-to-day basis. This is how it works from that chick is hatched, how long it takes before that chick lays eggs itself. So there's, on base, what I call primary animal or bird production. There's that. The other thing that we're doing this year is most people recognize the grain bin. It's one of those, used to be the grain elevators, but a grain bin is still recognizable. And for years we used that as a seed display. Pretty passive. People kind of treated it like a sandbox. This year we created a movie theater in there, and we're working to create basically a movie about how agriculture works. And we're working with lots of commodity groups and lots of companies that do their own promotion for whether it's their equipment or their technology, to show how it's applied to agriculture.
Right. So how is agriculture impacted by the advancements in technology?
I think we don't necessarily get to display the best of it all the time at the fair, because we concentrate on things like the commodity groups, but every year you look at how they build the barn in there. It's always added technology. There's lots of areas where it happens, but if you look today, and that's where we went to the movie theater concept, because it's really hard to have everybody crawl into a tractor or see a working combine, which are the big pieces of machinery on the farm, but to see how that is computer controlled. There's not somebody pulling big levers anymore like there was in the settler days when the horse-drawn implements that you pulled levers. It's all on a joystick. I mean, that joystick's bigger than what you have in an airplane to control how that equipment works. Those are the examples that we're trying to portray to people about how technology has been used to produce better and safer food.
So with the whole area that you have for ag education, what will people find when they go into that area?
There's a lot of things that we have going on. Like Wayne said, we have the commodity groups, also the petting zoo. Excuse me, within the commodity groups, we have the beef producers, the chicken producers, as well as the egg farmers, as well as Manitoba pork, and we also have the activity zone.
Right. So who's returning? What fan favorites are returning this year?
The big fan favorite is the petting zoo. Everyone loves the petting zoo. We have goats, bunnies, chickens, everything. Yeah.
Lambs, goats?
Yeah, I'm not sure about, lambs, goats, yeah.
That always seems popular with the kids. Them jumping up onto the hay bales.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's new?
What's new is the grain bin, as Wayne was mentioning. That's very new. We just did it this year. And also the equine assisted learning, that's new as well. And the Top Shot stables, as well as tour time.
Right. So there's a stage this year.
Yep.
Where is the stage? And it's called the Ag Action Stage. So where is it, and what is that all about?
The Ag Action Stage, for the Winter Fair, we utilize the entire Keystone Center complex. The Ag Action Stage is in what is known as the Enns Brothers Arena, and it's adjacent to the curling club, which is where we have our Royal Farmyard and Petting Zoo. That Ag Action Stage, I kind of laugh at it because years ago we started that as the place to do our cattle shows for our 4-H kids. We've now built it. It's our demonstration stage for agriculture. We've got the Western College of Veterinary Medicine coming in. They're talking about animal care. We've got our super dogs that perform in the main arena. They come in and do presentations there. Sorry, I got to look up all the pieces because I don't keep it in front of me. A farrier, which is an old term, that's who puts horseshoes on horses. He comes in and does a demonstration of shoeing a horse right in there. So people get to see real life agriculture and real life how to work animals right in that area. We still have 2 days of shows and sales, and one of our features that we've been doing for a number of years, we moved it from the Saturday. We have a celebrity showmanship class. What that is the 4-H kids put on this class, and we have over 100 animals in this year and over 55 kids that are bringing in animals for the 4-H show this year. But what they do is they take over and we get them 10 celebrities and put them in touch with a couple of the kids, and they get a half an hour to get trained on how to show an animal, show a beef steer or heifer. Then they're put into the ring to display how well they can do it. And it's a fun competition. Some of these guys, you look at them, a politician here or a senior administration or head of an organization, you're thinking, they don't know one end of a cow from another, but they might have been grown up on the farm. They had friends, they had cousins. Some of them walk in, you can tell they're comfortable and they love it. The next guy is standing there as far away from the animal as possible because he really doesn't know it. But that's just a way to interact with, as I said, society is fairly far removed from agriculture in a lot of cases. This just brings that closer. And the kids do a good job of training these guys because they got 25 minutes basically to pass the introductions and leading them in there. How to comb them, how to hold them, how to lead them, how to make them stand. And the kids themselves are the judges. And it's funny because they're down to the very nitty-gritty. One guy got kicked out one year because he wore running shoes. If you're showing cattle, you can't wear running shoes. One guy he lost because how he put his comb in the back pocket was wrong. That was the difference between winning and losing the show. So, and those are all real judging criteria when these kids are out judging. So that's a cool one that we do. We have a number of different sizes of horses at the fair. All of them are going to do either demonstrations or interactive talks on the Ag Action Stage. It's where people can get closer to the action of those animals.
Right. So you've touched on the groups and stuff coming in, but why is it important, to keep relationships with all these commodity groups and the veterinary college?
Those commodity groups are still they are what feeds us. I mean, we don't, horses, someone would say that's not right, but horses historically have been the animal that kept food and got food from where it was produced to us as a consumer. And I mean, it was the transport for everybody. That history is still there. Maintaining that interaction with commodity groups demonstrates to people that food doesn't just come from a store, that there's real people behind it, and it's the personal relationship. They get to know that that person is one of those people that takes care of those chickens to put eggs on the table, right? That's the dairy farmer that milks the cow, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so that I can go to the store, get my milk, buy my ice cream. I can stop at Dairy Queen and get my Blizzard because there's a dairy farmer out there. And I think that's part of the reason why we want to maintain that bridge between primary producer commodity groups and the rest of society.
Right. So, most popular with the kids, one of the most popular things with the kids, the petting zoo. It's always fun for them to go into, but there's stuff to learn. How does the petting zoo fit in with the ag ed?
I think it's very important for the petting zoo with agriculture because it joins them so the kids can learn and see and feel just how they are interlocked into the agricultural world. Rickland Farms does the petting zoo, and they have great staff, and they answer a lot of questions that all the kids have.
Right. So,
got one more thing, Ag Action Stage, another new feature we're doing this year. One of our sponsors wanted to recognize agriculture specifically. We've had a long history with BMO. They said, we want to recognize farm families this year. So they coordinated with us and we with them to create a farm family award. So basically every night or every day this year at the fair, we're going to be recognizing a farm family from across the province that's contributed to agriculture, went through a nomination process. We've got some cool ones. We've got a family coming from, I call it up north. They do bison, they do beekeeping, which are not what everybody does in today's day and age. But we've got dairy farms, we've got grain farms, and they're going to be coming on to that Ag Action Stage as well and saying, this is how I farm, this is what I do, and this is how I serve the public. So I think those are cool ways to see and people to learn.
right.
Create a forum for people to learn, and people enjoy that.
Right. So, like we say, it's not always just a fun time there too, but there's a lot to learn when you come to the Royal Manitoba. I know I learn something new every year that I go there. You wander around and there's always something new that you go and you talk to somebody about, and you learn a little nugget of information that you never knew before, and it's always exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun learning. That's
Fun learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. If we can just remind the folks again when the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair is this year.
March 26th to April 1st.
Yeah.
Right.
March 31st.
March 31st. I'm still there on the 1st.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us. Thank you.